Alright, what's up, y'all? Twin Beams in a building. What it do? Today we are going to be talking about the Indiana Pacers and how they're absolutely cooked for the next season. My goodness. And how I personally think that they probably won't see another title run for the next 2 to 3 years. And also Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam might have to get traded. We're going to get into basically every single thing about the Pacers, how it all went right, and then how it all went wrong. But before we get started, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. I'm going to see you guys in the video. So, of course, we know that the Indiana Pacers went ahead and had a historic playoff run last season in the Eastern Conference and then lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 7-game series. And let me just say this, that was one of the best series I've seen on the final spirit in a long time. I mean, we were all tired of constantly seeing the Warriors and we were ready to see some new light, you feel me? And we saw the Pacers finally make it after a really long time out of the Eastern Conference. We all know that the Eastern Conference isn't really all that competitive, especially last season. Shit, okay. But regardless, I mean, they made it all the way and they were almost able to win a championship. But of course, we know that Tyrese Halliburton went down with a gruesome Achilles injury, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder went ahead and took care of the rest in the 7th game. And I mean, it really wasn't even that surprising that they would go down with having some injuries, as in the beginning of the season, they actually had some injuries. They were plagued with injuries. The Pacers caught fire when the calendar flipped to 2025. Behind the leadership of Tyrese Halliburton and forward Pascal Siakam, Indiana finished strong and secured a 50-32 record, which placed them second in the Central Division and fourth in the Eastern Conference. They also had a relatively rough schedule in the playoffs going into the finals. Of course, beating the Milwaukee Bucks that were also riddled with injuries in the first round. Then in the semifinals, they were able to beat Cleveland 4-1, and then they finally defeated the New York Knicks 4-2, and then fell just short of the title. Losing 4-3 to the Oklahoma City Thunder, of course. I mean, these dudes had people talking about how they was doing black magic, the way they was coming back. They were almost, Indiana Pacers pulled a historic, statistically unprecedented 15-point quarter comeback to shock the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 1. And they were able to cement Indiana's status as the postseason's comeback kids and mark the first and only time they held a lead during the entire game. And I remember watching that game live. I mean, I pretty much thought, we had it secured. We were at home. Nobody thought that the Pacers would just go on an absolute streak and beat us at the very end. And we were up by 15 at a certain point. So, obviously these guys were talented. They had the right people around them. Tyrese Halliburton was playing MVP level of play. And then Pascal Siakam was also playing incredible defense. And, we can't forget about Miles Turner. We can't forget about TJ McConnell. I mean, all these dudes contributed to their Pacers' success. They had Nembhard. They had a whole lot of pieces. But now let's get into why I think these guys are cooked and the recent events that have absolutely cooked the Indiana Pacers. So how did these guys go from NBA Finals contenders to might not even crack the top 6 in the Eastern Conference, the weak-ass Eastern Conference? Well, before Indiana, all y'all fans get mad at me, let's look at the facts and let's look at the injuries and let's look at the recent draft controversies that have Indiana front and center. I also want to look at the salary cap situation, the roster situation, and all of the improvements around the Eastern Conference that would directly affect the Indiana Pacers and their finals contention. But first, I just want to talk about Tyrese Halliburton. And for one, prayers up to Tyrese Halliburton. I really do hope he gets healthy and he plays to the same amount of caliber or even better that he did before his Achilles injury. But to preface this, I mean, we have to look at the facts. The dude is going through a gruesome injury that has statistically had other athletes completely out of commission and not able to play at the same caliber as they did beforehand. And this isn't me wishing that upon him, but it's a possibility. I mean, an Achilles injury is one of the hardest injuries to come back from in basketball. Indiana's entire offense runs through Halliburton's playmaking, pace, and shooting. And without him 100%, the Pacers become a completely different team. And this is a statistical fact, right? Even if he returns next season, there's no guarantee he'll immediately look the same player. We've seen plenty of stars need a full season before regaining their explosiveness after an Achilles tear. And of course, he did take this entire season off, obviously, because the Pacers had a absolutely horrendous record. But at the same time, I mean, even him coming back next season, he might not be at 100%. What happens if Halliburton isn't playing at an all NBA level? Well, the Pacers just simply aren't contenders. I mean, they need Halliburton to play at 100%. But let's say he does, right? I mean, looking into this season, their season completely fell apart, right? Because we didn't think they were going to turn into a 19-win team without Tyrese, but they did. And that's because of Nesmith missing significant amount of time. Andrew Nembhard missed a significant amount of time. Zubac missed time after arriving at Indiana. And the Pacers reportedly used 48 different starting lineups and 27 different player rotations this season. That is like a record at this point. They also had Johnny Furfor, their forward, tearing his ACL. And he's probably still going to be recovering by the time the next season starts. He'd probably play, mid-season to playoff time next season, which he isn't like that crazy of a player, but just continuous injuries riddling them. And I mean, I don't know, bro, the validity of their dark magic claims might be biting them in the ass now. And this is the biggest issue when it comes to Indiana, them being a small market team. Now, small market teams in the NBA deserve so much more recognition when they win a championship like Oklahoma did last season, because it is so hard to get people off the free agency. And the Indiana Pacers have absolutely no way to improve whatsoever because of draft concerns, right? And we're going to get into that in a second, but also because they won't be able to make a splash on free agency. I mean, things are going to get ugly for them. Indiana is operating close to the luxury tax, and they don't have any financial flexibility. Even if they were to go make a splash in the free agency, they really don't even have the money to do so, right? Reports indicate that the Pacers are working with a nearly full roster and limited spending room, right? They're unlikely to make any huge free agent splashes. They don't have endless cap space, and their ability to reshape the roster is limited. The only way that the Pacers could get any better is by getting all of their players, for one, playing and healthy, and for two, coaching. There really is no other way these guys get other players. And with an Eastern Conference that is progressively getting better and starting to match the Western Conference, that's just obviously a recipe for disaster. I mean, let's take a look at other rosters, right? We obviously have the Celtics. They're not going anywhere. They still got Jason Tatum, and Jason Tatum is actually healthy, right? They got Kristaps, they got Jaylen Brown, they got Derek White. The team is going nowhere, and they're losing basically nobody except maybe Kristaps in free agency next season, but they're still going to progressively get better. Then they got the Cavaliers, who are still young relatively. I mean, other than James Harden, they are looking to make a splash in free agency, or a splash, or not a splash in free agency, but a splash in the offseason, potentially making some trades or whatnot. But regardless of all that, they're going to have Donovan Mitchell, and just with Donovan Mitchell, that makes them a threat. And obviously Evan Mobley. Then we had a team that really surprised us early on this playoffs, and that's the Magic with Paolo. I mean, the Magic are one of the youngest teams in the Eastern Conference, for one, and for two, a progressively getting better team. And to me, I mean, I got the Orlando Magic winning against the Indiana Pacers in a 7-game series. Cade Cunningham and the Pistons, as well as the Hawks, are just overall better teams in Indiana, and they also have more flexibility to make their teams better. And to put it simply, the East is just a lot more deeper than they were the 2024-2025 season, when the Indiana Pacers are literally not going to get better next season. Now, guys, I've made a lot of claims today, and again, these claims are just claims. These are just words, right? I don't know. I don't have a magic ball that is going to tell me what's going to happen in the future, right? But at the end of the day, things could get better for the Indiana Pacers, and this is exactly how the Indiana Pacers could get better next season. Now, I'm not saying they could go on another finals run, but they can make it to deep playoffs, right? They have the capabilities, they have the superstars to do it, other than losing Miles Turner. But, I mean, to begin with, Halliburton has to return to his superstar form. I mean, if Tyrese Halliburton is healthy, then you're always in contention to be a top 15, top 20 team, right? If he returns to 90 to 100% peak level, then Indiana's offense obviously instantly corrects itself and instantly becomes one of the better offenses in the league. And I know he doesn't really jump out in the stat sheet, but just watching Tyrese play, I mean, the offense completely runs through him. He's a great facilitator, one of the true OG point guards that we still have in the game. Pacers still have some young guys, specifically Benedict Mathurin, that could potentially turn into a star or a high NBA player. I mean, the dude has shown flashes of being a 20-plus points per game player. If he becomes a legitimate second option, Indiana becomes much harder to defend, and a lot of teams make the jump when a young player unexpectedly breaks out. and they really need this guy to break out, right? If he does, then the Indiana Pacers just look automatically better because, you know, obviously adding a scorer next to Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam will just be an overall upgrade to their starting line. Another player that could develop into a star level or a high role player is Jarace Walker, as he's still a huge question mark, but if he were to develop into a versatile two-way forward who can defend multiple positions and hit open threes, that solves one of Indiana's biggest weaknesses, right? And the number one thing that they could do is improve their defense. But again, that really just comes down to coaching. There's no way or really like how these guys could really get a better defender. Pascal Siakam is a decent defender, and Tyrese Halliburton has the size to become a decent defender. But at the end of the day, bro, it's really just going to come down to them. I don't think they're going to be one of the better defenses in the league because they relied so much on their offense. But we'll see. I mean, if they have the heart in them, we'll see. Now, the Indiana Pacers really could win this offseason by making a blockbuster trade. Personally, I don't really know who it would be. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on the trade market as of now that are high level. I mean, you're not going to get a superstar with the assets that they have, but they could get another like high star level player. I mean, I'm not too sure. They have young players. They have draft assets in the future. Obviously, we know that these guys do not have a first round pick this draft, which is an absolute bust. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? Their GM is proven to be one of the better GMs in the league, right? He was able to build a roster that almost won the finals last season. So if they were able to win a trade, trade for a star player, I don't know, maybe Evan Mobley, Giannis is in talks. There's a lot of people that are on the trade market this offseason. Obviously, we're going to get into more trades whenever we do end up getting into the offseason after the NBA Finals is over with. But at the end of the day, man, they're going to have to do something because with their current roster, I just don't see them getting past the first or second round in the playoffs, if that. But yeah, guys, that's my personal opinion on the Indiana Pacers next season. If you're an Indiana Pacers fan, make sure you guys like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make a lot more videos on the Indiana Pacers as well as other NBA teams. If you guys enjoy NBA content and NFL content, make sure you guys subscribe. I can become your new NFL and NBA insider source. And I'm going to catch you guys later.